We have majorly bullish sentiment here with the Trump administration making decisions that is pushing Bitcoin to almost 100,000, pushing Cardano up over to 130% up in the last month. We have the selection for the Secretary of the Treasury and also news about Gary Gensler as well. This is definitely going to push the market forward for the crypto industry. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, I'm Peter Bury. If this is your first time here, hit that thumbs up on your way in, that subscribe button. It will keep you guys up to date with everything that's happening in the crypto and specifically everything that's happening in the Cardano ecosystem. And Trump is certainly making waves. This stance that he has now around crypto is making the whole industry really excited. If you haven't seen the price yet, it is reaching all-time highs again and pushing to that 100,000 mark there. We're really excited about this one here. If you look at Cardano as well, it's over 218% up this month, which is absolutely insane at $1.12 at the moment at the time of this recording. But the exciting thing to have a look at here is the movement between Cardano and Bitcoin. If you do the comparison here, Cardano is doing exceptionally well. Look at this gain compared to Bitcoin over the last 7 days. And this may be why a lot of people are really interested in Cardano at the moment and moving assets over and pushing up Cardano's price at the moment. And I can't wait to see what happens over the next few days as we see some more news come into play. Now, one of the key things that is happening at the moment is the selection of the Treasury Secretary. And this is what Charles had to say on an interview on Bloomberg, the China show the other day.
Anytime there's a presidential transition, it's a very complex affair. And actually, the Treasury Secretary has yet to be selected, and they're kind of winnowing down.
But we do now have news about this. It is Scott Bessent, and this choice I think is really good for the crypto space. He is a hedge fund manager. He has made billions of dollars and is a strong cryptocurrency enthusiast. He also is a bit of a fan of tariffs, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But Bessent, who donated about $3 million to the Trump and other Republican causes during this year's election cycle, has a history of pro-crypto views. This means he could introduce crypto-friendly regulations to the US Treasury, something that Trump camp wants and is likely driving the recent Bitcoin rally. Now, who is Scott Bessent and what is his background? I did do a little bit of research here. Now, Bessent has had decades-long career in the finance space. He's analyzed macroeconomic geopolitical risk while working at Soros Fund, where he served as chief investment officer as well as other hedge funds. He is a pro-tariffs guy though, so this may have some sort of effect on the inflation within the US. It's yet to be known, but he asserts that tariffs aren't inflationary, rejecting the views of 16 Nobel Prize-winning economists that Trump's plans to impose broad tariffs could reignite price increases. We'll see what happens in that space there. Now, what else do we know about Bessent's education and work history? He is a Yale graduate, wanted to be a journalist, but he secured an internship with money manager Jim Rogers, George Soros' first partner and co-founder of Quantum Fund. Bessent is the CEO and chief investment officer of New York-based hedge fund Key Square Capital Management. And he has also taught at Yale University, offering classes on economic booms and busts in the 20th century and the history of hedge funds. So I think it's safe to say that this guy's got a lot of experience in hedge funds and global economics. So I think this is a really good choice for the Trump administration in terms of economic policy for the US. But what is he saying exactly about crypto and what is his stance there? We know he's pro-crypto, but let's see what he has to say. This is a clip of him talking on Fox Business back in July of this year. Let me play you this clip.
I've been excited about the president's embrace of crypto, and I think it fits very well with the Republican Party, the ethos of crypto is about freedom, and the crypto economy is here to stay. The Democrats are running from it because they're trying to wash off the stench of Sam Bankman-Fried and his family's donations to the Democratic Party. So they're willing to take down a whole industry because of bad behavior on their part, bad behavior one actor. And I think that everything's on the table with Bitcoin. And to me, one of the most exciting things about Bitcoin is for a generation of investors who maybe post the great financial crisis had been looking for investment opportunities, or maybe they'd soured on markets. Crypto is bringing in young people. It's bringing in the people who haven't participated in markets, and having a market culture in the U.S. and people believing that markets work for them is a centerpiece of capitalism.
Freedom, financial freedom. I think we might be in good hands here. This is definitely a really good pick. Of course, this appointment still needs to get through the Senate approvals as well, but it sounds like this is a sane pick, and I think Scott Bessent here could very well get in. And if he does, this is extremely good news for the Trump administration and for all of crypto in general. Now, before I continue with this news update, just want to remind you guys about these scams. This is continuously going at the moment. I'm getting more and more comments down below of this video here of people saying, thank you, Pete, for putting out this video. You just saved me thousands of ADA. If you see one of these live videos of Charles talking about giving away ADA and it's free, don't listen to it. It is 100% a scam, and people do fall for this. If you are one of these victims here, you can try out this product tool here from Cerebus called Siren. Now, this allows you to track where your stolen assets have gone. It's very much like other reports that you've seen by this guy here. He does investigations and whatnot, but it automates that process. Furthermore, Siren allows you to start the legal process to actually try and get your crypto assets back. In some of the jurisdictions where this happens, if there's enough people, there can be a case. The amount of crypto assets that are potentially going to be recovered is enough for those legal costs. And in those situations, you may be able to get your cryptocurrency assets back. So this is a really cool thing. I'll put links down below to Cerebus as well. This is a free service. Of course, if you do go through the claiming process, they take a bit of a fee off that claim back if they manage to get your funds. But hey, something is better than nothing. So if you do happen to be one of these victims that has fallen for these scams or any other scam out there, try Cerebus. They can really help you with reclaiming those assets. Now, I'm not being paid by the project. I think this is purely a really good service out there in the crypto space to try and get those assets back. So, all right, and with that out of the way, let's get back to the news update. This is all brilliant news for Bitcoin and crypto in general. It's pushing the market forward. But how is this going to affect Cardano? And for those that haven't been paying attention or don't know about this, BitcoinOS is adding a smart contract layer to Bitcoin itself, allowing it to be able to connect to Cardano as a L2 and be able to interact with that chain and be able to interact with the various dApps on there. And Cardano has a massive DeFi ecosystem, a very robust one that has been building throughout the bear market, and it is primed and ready to explode at the moment. People are starting to take note and entering into the Cardano DeFi space. Let me play you this clip that explains exactly what BitcoinOS is. It's not a bridge. You're not locking your assets onto a bridge, which is really risky. This works on zero knowledge proof, but this video explains it much better than I could.
What BitcoinOS is, we've built an operating for Bitcoin. And what this operating system does is it allows you to take computation, to run any computation, compress it down into a ZK proof, write it, verify it, secure it, and execute it on Bitcoin. And this is basically a way that Bitcoin suddenly becomes a smart contract platform with the capacity to have eyes and a brain and do all of this asset management, where the heavy lifting is done off chain and the changes on the ledger are reflected on Bitcoin. That is a restructuring and a rethinking, not just of Bitcoin, but of crypto, finance, property rights more generally. And to make that happen, a huge breakthrough was required. So what we figured out and what we managed to build is a ZK, right, a zero knowledge proof verification system for Bitcoin. We performed the first zero knowledge verification at Bitcoin Nashville a few months ago, and then we open sourced the system. And now we are building out the entire OS to make this useful for developers, to do everything from shielded private transactions on Bitcoin, build rollups on Bitcoin, to do programmable tokens like ERC20 style on Bitcoin, and the ability for Bitcoin to have eyes and a brain to see and understand what is happening on other chains, so that what the activity that happens on other chains can also be reflected and executed on Bitcoin.
Right. That's really exciting. Bitcoin's going to absolutely explode. And you may think, okay, there may not be a lot of people that are looking for those opportunities in Bitcoin DeFi on Cardano, but there will be. Companies like this, BlackRock ETF, is exploding at the moment with massive amounts of inflows. Now, BlackRock will be looking for the most optimal yields for their BTC out there. They could hold the BTC, watch the market go up and down, but they specifically will be looking for extra yield. Same as real world assets with gold, Bitcoin holders such as BlackRock will be trying to get the best return on investment for their investors. And with DeFi players out there, such as BitcoinOS integrating with Cardano, BlackRock may very well take advantage of those and skyrocket Cardano's DeFi ecosystem. So this is something to be really excited and bullish about. And how much Bitcoin has BlackRock received or purchased? BlackRock's recent buy was 5,175 Bitcoins, and now they hold a total 21,250 Bitcoin or BTC. So that's a massive amount of Bitcoin to be holding. And of course, like I said, holding onto that Bitcoin is one thing and watching the price appreciate as more people buy it. But being able to park that BTC somewhere and earn some extra yield is really appealing for these ETFs. So this is really exciting stuff. But Pete, when is this all going to happen? The whole BitcoinOS side of things should be launching early 2025. This is really soon. So as soon as the Trump administration gets in and manages to push through that strategic Bitcoin reserve policy, we may very well see the BitcoinOS team launch their platform as well. So this is really exciting and perfectly timed for the market, I think. We've also seen the ability for Bitcoin users to interact directly with Cardano dApps. And this is super exciting here. Now, I showed this video in my last update, but people are wondering, all right, Pete, you're showing me a video. Is this real? Will we actually see this soon? Well, yeah, it is. FluidTokens have opened up their beta testers. So if you are a Bitcoin tester, you can use your Bitcoin wallet, get some test ADA on there, connect to the testnet network, and you can play around with it on testnet and stake your test ADA with your Bitcoin wallet. This is a whole new level of interoperability thanks to the last hard fork that we've had in the Cardano ecosystem. So this is bringing Bitcoin users over to Cardano. So if you want to try that out, I'll put links down below so you guys can become a beta tester and see what it's like to have it being able to interact with a Cardano dApp using your Bitcoin wallet. Now, the last piece of the puzzle here is the chair of the SEC. And this is Gary Gensler, and he really needs to be moved out of that position for the SEC to have a more pro-friendly cryptocurrency stance. And this is happening. This is now official. Usually with every administration that comes in, there's a tradition where the sitting chair of the SEC would submit and resign, and the new one be appointed by the next administration. So this happened with Gary Gensler coming in after Trump, and it will happen again as the Biden administration closes up and the Trump administration moves in. Now, we don't know who the new chair of the SEC will be, but there is a definite confirmation that Gary Gensler is stepping down as effective of 12 p.m. on the 20th of January next year. So this is really good news. You can read that all on the SEC website where the press release was put out. So this is all really exciting stuff, and it's all laying the groundwork for a pro-crypto friendly environment within the United States. And what we hope here is that Charles and other big cryptocurrency players are moving into the space as advisory roles for a lot of the senators out there and helping them navigate the cryptocurrency space and guide them to help with all this regulation and pathways to make it really clear on how this industry should operate. Something that we've just been asking for the last 4 years, even longer than that, I should say. But this really is now a turning point, and we're seeing more and more bullish sentiment at the moment. So this is really exciting, guys. Or maybe I'm speaking too soon. Now, this is Jim Cramer's prediction, and if anyone's been watching his stuff, he's been terrible at predicting the crypto space. Anything that he says, the opposite happens. So let's have a look at what he has to say here at the moment.
We call MSTR. We used to call that Mr. MSTR. I've got to tell you, it's a Bitcoin play. I prefer to actually own Bitcoin. I know that Citron put some sort of short on it. All I can tell you is own Bitcoin. That's a winner. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the conclusion of the live
All right, so he said buy Bitcoin. Maybe it's time to sell. We'll see how things go. But that's all I have for you guys for this particular news update. If you haven't done so already, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, notification bell on your way out. Thank you to all the channel members as well. These are all the awesome channel members here. Thank you so much for your support. I couldn't do this without you guys. If you do want to become a channel member, all the links and all the information is down below in the video description. You can find out more about how you can be a channel member and what you get out of all of that as well. You get early access to news, updates, special live streams, and much, much more. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next video.